This episode is brought to you by Woodside Energy, a proud major sponsor of the Fremantle Football Club, supporting local footy from grassroots to greatness. Straight in we go. This is Mitchell. Are Ross Lyon's post-game press conferences just seen as funny, or are they slowly becoming rude and antagonising? Seems as though his most recent ones have been rude to journos, even if it's in a light tone.
This is not a new thing.
Ross dances constantly between funny, insightful,
insulting,
yeah. All terrifying.
I still think the pressure of the year was when he kicked back at that female journalist who responded perfectly with, where he asked like, well, what did you see? Or what did you think? And she answered the question perfectly. Yeah. Remember that presser? You know what I'm talking about?
I think I remember saying at the time, like when Ross was here, anytime you went to a Ross press conference, and this should be the norm anyway, but you had to do it particularly. He would always do that. So if you said, what went wrong against St Kilda on the weekend, he'd say, well, what do you think went wrong?
I think that was what the question was, something like that. And we didn't know the voice because, he's so used to hearing the voice of Tom Morris or the voice of Mitch Cleary, John Ralph, all them. Yep. And there's this different voice, and it was a girl. I was like, who the hell is that? And she stuck to her guns, delivered the facts that needed to be delivered. And I was like,
good job. Good job. You got to do your homework when you're going.
I think we spoke about that. Yeah.
And he can be. He can be prickly and he can be confronting.
It's a great deflector.
He is a fantastic deflector. Yeah, it's but you'd never.
I hated that fingernail. Oh, that's probably fingernail deep analysis. And then you'd ask him a more technical question. You go, well, it's not really the forum for that.
Yeah.
Oh, piss off.
Yep. Nathan, hi boys. Is it possible that we are underestimating old mate Canadian fixture dude?
No.
Thursday and Friday night footy played in Australia is about 2 a.m. in Vancouver, Canada. Ideal time to fixture an Essendon match from his perspective. Keep up the good work. This is a good point.
That's a good point.
The only drama was underestimate him, because there was 2 games on the weekend on a Sunday and he still managed to overlap them.
That's true.
That is easy math.
Maybe he was doing some curling or something.
2 hours 40, just leave a 3-hour gap and you'll be safe.
Eating maple syrup. Josh, who's closer to a flag, Carlton or the 20th AFL team?
It's Tassie. So you all know that's
not even Tassie.
It's not even Tassie.
NT.
It's
the Bunbury
Southport
Kangaroos.
Sharks.
Yeah.
Whatever they're called.
Well, if it's the Southport Sharks, the AFL give them endless picks and endless players.
Another academy.
The new rule will come in. Okay, every club needs to give one of their top 5 best and fairest place getters this year.
To Southport.
To Southport.
Yeah, they're a well-run club, actually, Southport.
Southport should have been they should have been the team. Should have just been the Gold Coast Sharks.
And they should have just been part of Southport.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Mr. Queensland. Jesse, couple of things, lads. As a Docker supporter, can we not have Pav commentate Freo games anymore, please? Loved him as a player, but he seems to have rescinded his loyalty. Also, have you ever seen a player regress as bad as Amos? What the are we doing with him?
He just can't get near it, can he?
Well, it's funny with the Pav point because you hear
last week we had a message saying we want more Pav to balance out.
Yes, and then you have West Coast fans saying they don't want Pav because he favours Fremantle. Yeah. So it's interesting.
You can't win in that job.
No, you can't. There's always going to be someone who reads it a certain way, but you just got to do what you do.
No, but I think you're automatically tuned to your ears prick up when Rashudo makes a comment about Adelaide.
Well, yeah, but it's even more so because he's on the board.
But when Kane makes a comment about Port, when Jonathan Brown makes a comment about Brisbane,
particularly if it's a criticism. Yeah.
Or the other way around, you go, biased.
Yeah, correct. That's true. And you've been red hot on Amos. So, do you know what? I was watching Amos very closely yesterday when they were pushing forward. And I think I brought this up a couple of weeks ago with what is his role actually?
Well, not to not have a touch at half.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But he darts away from Josh Tracy. So they'll start together and he just goes and he goes deep into the pocket, deep into the pocket. He's running away from the footy.
That's why to get at Joe the Goose. He tried
He's not going to the goal square.
He tried one the other day, yesterday, where he tried to get out the back.
I'm talking about when they're going to...
They're starting the square.
They're 70 metres out and they're looking for... He just goes and he takes his defender out of there. He's not the main man at all.
No, he's not.
Like, he's nowhere near it.
I think you've got stocks in this.
I don't.
I'm now wealthy and I want the kid to do really well, but he needs to work higher up the ground.
Yeah,
well, you've got to change his role then. You've got to change his role because I think he might not be touching
lead up forwards are just not a thing, becoming a thing of the past.
Pastor Mark Pickett has close to 10% of Melbourne's salary cap as a high mid/forward for 9 years. Is it a really foolish move from the D's and one they will most likely regret? Freo dodged a bullet. Buddy Franklin was a tall generational player and only just made it to the end of his contract.
I think when you're Melbourne, they just
I wonder
need
what
to play
Pastor Mark would have written had they got.
Yeah, he's a game changer. Give him 20.
How do you feel about that?
I'm not a long-term contract man. I think if Freo got him again for another 8 years or whatever, that's just another piece that's long. Look, if he has 25 touches, kick 3 goals a game, it's money well spent.
I think we all agree the contract was too much money and too long, but that's what they had to do to keep him. Yeah. Otherwise, he wasn't going to stay
if you're going into a rebuild, you kind of still need to keep at least one of your pillars.
Yeah, and flip it onto the Fremantle. If Josh Tracy wanted to leave and then he goes, well, we'll stay for 1.7 or whatever the money's doing these days. You pay, no Freo supporter's going to go, nah. You got too much. Yeah, you got to pay.
Travis, how good was Taru? How high is his ceiling? Potential 5-time All-Australian in my eyes. Okay. I want him in my team.
His athleticism was incredible. That's
vertical leap, eh?
And also just fun to watch.
Yeah.
St Kilda haven't had a lot of fun players, so bring him on.
Sam Gilbert.
This is Zach, and he sent it last week. Hi, boys. Slightly longer than last time listener here. Just a quick one on the resurgence of North Melbourne. Where do you guys think the success has stemmed from? Perhaps the drafting of so many quality medium to small-sized ball users. In all seriousness, how are we going to pick from all of the free agents falling over themselves to sign at Arden Street? Yeah. Glad I didn't have Forks close by on the weekend. Love the pod. Talk soon, Zach.
I don't think Mick will mind me saying, Barlow at North. Guess I was a bit pissed on Saturday.
Yeah.
I may have texted him during the game saying, not sure if you've noticed, but Sheasel needs to get around the football a little bit more. I don't think it's working at half forward.
You can't be doing that. You cannot be texting a member of the coaching staff while they're working.
As a mate, joking, obviously. I wrote from the Scarborough Sporting.
And he doesn't have his phone during the game.
No, he goes, just so you know, I do not have my phone. Thank you.
Hey, did you hear Joey Montagna on First Crack said Dersma's not feeling the love?
I heard that, yeah. He's not feeling
he's for the twos, isn't he?
This is West Coast strategy, get the entire family.
Well, we had that conspiracy 2 weeks ago that maybe Zane comes over. And
maybe he's a listener.
Will, is Tom Lynch done, or does he need a fresh start at a contender? We kind of covered that.
No, he doesn't. I think he's close to being done.
Jesse, cheers, Rhino. Your same game multi just paid for my Saturday night beers down at the Egg Chasers game here in Wollongong. NRL Dragons v Eels he was going to.
That was a good game, I think, Dragons v Eels. That was when the Fox stood on the
line.
Sideline.
There you go. You are welcome, Jesse. Just keep following me for wins. Dean, are Bont's Brownlow chances behind him? First one after 250 games can't be common, surely.
He won't poll enough votes this year, no. It's behind him.
But he could win next year.
It's behind him.
So who was that? Who won it a few years back? It was the oldest Brownlow medalist? Or the second oldest Brownlow? Was it Lockie Neal? No, couldn't be.
Well, it kind of has to be. Who else has won it?
Might have been Lockie. Was
it Cripps? Cripps, probably.
No, his first one.
Oh.
I can't remember who it was.
Barry Round was
pretty. It's pretty rare to win one post 30.
You win your first,
particularly your first one.
But he's also he was quiet again on the weekend, Bont.
He was. Yeah. It's definitely not his best season. Aaron, Rhino bringing gags to Sundays, then come Mondays, it's back to boring old Rhino. Hey,
yeah, fair call.
What?
Wow.
What do you mean? Do you mean on the pod? Boring.
Oh, yeah, fair call.
What gags did you roll out on the rub?
Mate, I'm bringing some good gear on the side. I've hit form.
Well,
Since the WhatsApp debacle, I've been forced to work very hard.
Did you have a fireside chat?
So the oldest, just while I'm on Brownlows, the oldest was Barry Round at 31.
Yep.
Youngest, Dick Reynolds at 19.
Jesus.
Oof. How crazy is that?
Dick Reynolds.
Yeah.
Alex, what do Freo do with their remaining salary cap meant for Cozzy? Yeah, it's interesting because they had the Warner pitch, they had the Cozzy pitch. Neither of those happened. They'll go Warner again in 2 years. I don't know if they land a big fish this year. I think they'll just do a little bits and pieces with the money and maybe spread some of the money out.
What would you think? If
front end some contracts.
If they could do with one other little piece, it's another run and gun long kicking halfback.
I think like a silky ball user off halfback would be nice. But
I'm banned from talking about halfbacks.
Why? Put you on that?
Because you love Jordan Clark.
I was sure Jordan Clark was pumped with me saying that he should be the first player tagged.
He's so funny because Jordan Clark has politely asked Zabe to stop saying he should get tagged. I've spoken to him twice today, and on air both times he has said Jordan Clark's not happy with me.
No, Caleb Strong came in the other day and goes, it might need to be. Geez, Clark, he told you to shut the up. And then sure enough, game finishes again on Sunday. Who's best on ground?
Yeah.
Jordan Clark, mate, he's so good.
Jaden, Can you boys rate Jonathan Brown, Nick Riewoldt, and Matthew Pavlich from best to worst?
I can. Riewoldt, Pavlich, Brown.
Media performers or players?
Players, I like Riewoldt, Pavlich, Brown as the...
I think that's the same order for me.
Media-wise...
Not doing that. Tomorrow never comes. I'm always a week.
With 7.
Yeah, Riewoldt.
with 7.
Riewoldt's number 1, of course.
Tomorrow never comes. I'm always a week behind.
Well, clearly, Roo's not number 1 because
Ryan would have answered.
Ryan would have answered.
No, I would have him number 1.
Oh, he's
sure.
good.
Yep.
He says,
tomorrow never comes.
Mark Lacroix.
Shut up.
No McManus.
I'm always a week behind, so getting in Sunday so it's relevant this Tuesday. Quick fire points and questions. Richmond to seek clarification on marking contests. I'm pretty sure swinging a fist in the back of the head is not okay. 3 weeks for a rundown tackle. You've probably covered it, but this has to be more.
I was going to say, Paul Curtis's rundown tackle looks like a quiet, dry humping at a blue light disco compared to what happened.
Where the did Tom McCarthy hide? Absolute gem and shows what effort on the field can do.
I think Sue not scarred.
Continues next page.
From like getting... Yeah.
Why drop Draper, who's 21 and possibly a long-term player, for Oscar McDonald? Decision with the ball is terrible, and 29 backup player, not project player.
We like Oscar.
You're not a project player when you're in the finals. You've got to keep people on their toes.
What the is Banfield? Again, he's 27. If this is his peak, why not blood project long-termers like a Jaron Carr or something? They bragged about depth at Freo in the preseason and looking at Waffle and a couple of injuries. I don't see it. Finally, after the effort against the Saints, Brayshaw and for captain next. Lock it in. We always have a captain that can't kick crunch goals. Jeez, he's coming off the top.
Did he watch the week before when Brayshaw missed a few?
Connor, how was Big Pepsi at 3/4 time yesterday?
That's chilled, mate. They're like, we can't have you on air. You look like you've been smoking. You look like you've been smoking dope. I was that chilled. I was like, no, I'm good. I'm just chilling.
Mitchell, hey guys, question for Ryan. A lot has been made about whether Harley Reid is leaving or not. Is there any danger of Hewitt leaving? Only contracted to the end of next year, I think, and thought they would have locked him in for longer already. No.
You can't have locked Hewitt in early because he hadn't played.
Well, that was the issue. I think, no, I don't think there's any concern.
And leaving where? He's a Perth boy.
Jeez, he can play.
I think he'll be there for a very long time. Richard, hi guys. For Xavier mainly, everyone talks about the Brownlow Coaches Champion Player Award and Players Association MVP as the awards to be won for an individual. But surely winning the club BNF in a premiership would top all of these. Throwing in the Norm Smith as a fifth, how would you rank them from a player's perspective? Cheers, love the pod. Go. Number one,
I do think probably the coaches' votes
over Brownlow, Norm Smith.
Just hear me, yeah, because that's done by people who know what they're talking about, know what they're looking for.
Yep.
Okay. Then best and fairest in a premiership year.
All right.
I think, did Corey Enright win a couple of them? Those sort of players. Josh Gibson won a couple. So I think best and fairest. Then Brownlow. What was the other one in there?
Players Association.
That's
last.
Yeah, that's
last. Some of the picks they make is just
your mates a bit.
awful.
But yeah, I think that
and the Norm is fourth.
Norm in there is probably fourth. You've had a good day.
After the Brownlow.
If he'd won that, Norm, he would.
It'd be different
very
first.
High up.
Norm judging panels. I do know what they're talking about.
I do like the coaches' votes because they genuinely are the people who know what they're looking for.
Yeah, they're the ones like that guy pissed me off the most today.
Yeah.
He gets 5.
Michael, is Justin Longmuir doing Jai Amos a disservice by not dropping him?
Yeah, Jai Amos still.
Well, I think they've got to get rid of him if they want Luke Jackson to play forward. If they're going to do 2 rucks, you cannot solely have a rotating big coming off the ground as a forward line. Like, you need to be able to give the runners a spell.
The obvious question to this issue that you have is if they won 6 in a row, then what's the problem?
Well, Darcy wasn't there for 6 of them.
Been there for 3 of them.
Yeah.
3 or 4 of them now. Okay. CCFF. Somehow this draft continues to go to another level. It might be the consensus second best draft of all time when all the careers are over. Who is your first 5 in this draft? If you could choose right now, the best players as it stands are, it's got a list, Raul Anderson, Jackson, Ash, Sarong, Young, Pickett, Green, Day, Georgiades, DeConing, that's Sam DeConing, and Warner. Far out. That's a good draft. Okay, so pick your 5. Let's do a draft.
Yeah.
Pick 1 is yours. I get pick 2. You get pick 3.
What's the list again? Go through one more time.
One more time.
Raul, Anderson, Jackson, Ash, Sarong, Young, Pickett, Green, Day, Georgiades, Sam DeConing, and Warner.
Okay. Well, there's only one that stands out to me. That's Will Day.
Is that pick 1?
I would say pick 1 would have to be currently Luke Jackson.
Wow, the unicorn you're in now.
As a ruck.
Took you a while to come along, didn't it?
As a ruck.
Pick 2. Jesus Christ. Give me I like all of these players.
Yeah, well, no, so we all do, mate.
Give me Chad Warner.
Chad, yeah.
I'll probably go Anderson at 3.
I'll go Pickett at 4.
Oh, shit. I've got a good choice at 5. I've got Tom Green, Caleb Sarong.
But that's why I left him, because I'll get one on the next round.
Give me Sarong.
Wait, who'd you go for?
Pickett.
You going Sarong?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, then I'll go Will Day.
I will go Tom Green.
Geez, I'm getting Matt Rowell at pick 8.
Yeah.
Steele.
And then back to me?
Yeah, you've got
Hayden Young.
All right. You want Lockie Ash, Georgiades, or DeConing?
I'm passing in. I don't need another.
Pass.
I'm passing.
I'll take Georgiades. I'll take Georgiades.
Don't you sit there and a kid being in the draft year when there's still all these picks left and the clubs start passing? You're like, just take a kid.
Someone,
just take a kid.
Who's the best 24-year-old in the country? Take
Tim,
him.
what is Brady Hoff's ceiling? Does he have an All-Australian season in him?
In what position?
Well, midfielder now.
No, I don't think. I think he's a 250 game. Everybody loves him.
Could win a best and fairest.
Could win 2.
But the West Coast is going to be shit for the next 5 years. So he's
So
not
it
going
might
to
be
make
5 of them.
Yeah, but he's not going to make a mark in the next 5 years on the league.
Follow up, Bailey. This is from Bailey. Could Hoff be a full-time mid? Great blend of defensive and offensive attributes.
A little bit of Bergman.
Matthew. Hey, Rhonda. Katut here. Who says no? This is from Matthew.
This is a Sydney thing.
Who says no? Other than Big P himself, somewhere between 33% and 66% of his salary paid by West Coast and a pick, maybe Hawthorn's round 2 in a trade for Freo's Darcy. This comes off the back of articles like the player coming third in coaches' votes this year is the opposite ruckman in a West Coast game. Flynn isn't flying and BJ Williams is playing better as a forward.
I was talking about this on the weekend with someone.
So this is about Darcy
going to West Coast.
West Coast.
West Coast trade.
Someone brought that up the last couple of days.
It makes way too much sense.
Yeah. They just wouldn't do it. Unless they do.
Clubs need to grow up.
Yeah.
And just draft. They do at the draft. Oh, no, we don't want to. In case a manager says that, well, we won't get that pick, and shut the up. Just take the player and deal with the problems later. Sorry, Josh, I just said it again. But I hate.
How many F-bombs have we dropped?
Two. Oh, you've thrown a couple.
I've had a couple.
Yeah,
but I hate the clubs. Oh, no, we don't want to do that in case we upset that club. Like, it's dog eat dog. Like, why we
just munch on the dog.
If Sean Darcy's best suited at West Coast, just get Sean Darcy. Like, I hate that they go cross rivals.
Would you
go get him?
Would you do it for Hawthorn's? It says round 2. Don't think that's going to happen. Would you do it for that pick that's Hawthorn's, which is going to be like pick 17 or 18? If you're West Coast.
No.
No, probably not. Darcy's too old for that time frame.
If Darcy's right, that solves your ruck for 5 years.
No way in the world. Well, they're still going to play finals for 5 years. So no,
they'd be hoping in 5 years.
No way in the world am I giving up pick 17.
I don't think that'd be that early. He doesn't fit the age profile. How old is he?
No way in the world you're giving up pick 17.
All right. Michael, should Tex be given another year at the Crows?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Well, no, you got Max.
What did Tex do yesterday?
Adam, was Jackson wasted as a forward with Fridge in the ruck in the last quarter?
I know, he kicked 2 goals and delivered one to win the game.
Put a winking emoji with a tent.
Yeah.
He's got a tent emoji here. Max, what do you think Richmond's off-season priorities should be position-wise?
Oh, everywhere.
Yeah, I don't think they're at a point where they're targeting anything. I think they're still, because they've got so many young guys that they need to see what they have. They need to let these they've got so many key tools that are young. And
Gibcus to come back in.
Lawler is the key to everything because he's the one with the power, but they need another one of those.
That's who I saw. Who was I trying to think of earlier when I got asked about a player and I couldn't think of the power player? Langford.
Right.
Harvey Langford.
Yeah.
When I was trying to...
Yeah.
Lawler's got that element, and I don't think Harvey Langford does.
But there might be a draft of those kind of guys.
What's wrong with Tex Walker's 20 disposals and 2 goals, 2 yesterday?
Well, yeah, he was
What about the 4 games before?
Oh, spare me.
Yeah, he's just barely going. Barely going. Why do you love Tex so much?
Yeah,
okay, let's do. Have you got time to put your phone down for conspiracy theories?
I've got the conspiracy on my phone.
Oh, you've got one down. Okay, so let's hit it.
All right, this one's from Slip and Slide. Slip and Slide. Good morning, gang. Don't be afraid to play a bit of Bocelli during this segment as well if you've got it queued up. But my conspiracy theory is from the AFL and it involves the Sydney Swans. Every year the Sydney Swans play in the grand final, we hear that this is the greatest audience to watch an AFL grand final. Yep. Of course, you're always going to get the West Australians. You're always going to get those from South Australia, Victoria. And when the Sydney Swans are involved, you've got 8.8 million putting their eyes on the game.
True.
The conspiracy is that the AFL, after the Bocelli concert, ordered the SCG maintenance people to not fix the grounds.
Oh.
Because the Sydney Swans were perceived to have weaknesses in their tall forwards and in their tall defenders.
Ground level.
So it's at their best interest that the ball is on ground level, bringing in Papley, bringing in the small forwards.
All the others.
So the SCG maintenance crew have been told, leave the ground slippery and slidey so the ball's continuously on the ground, therefore giving the Sydney Swans the great opportunity to play in another grand final.
I like it.
There's something there.
There's something in it. I mean, it's pretty hard. It was 2 months ago.
Go back. Maybe
Why is that ground still so shit?
Why is it still shit?
Also,
I mean,
did the AFL pay half of Bocelli's appearance fee?
And they hired out the Opera Stadium that night. The Opera,
they booked it out
Opera House.
for a
Opera
month.
House.
Sydney Opera House out for a month.
But Sally said,
there.
doesn't matter, I'll stay next week. Dylan McDildo said, no, we've booked it again next week.
You go to the SCG.
I don't mind it. And they've stuffed the curator. He's at the basement of the Sydney Opera House.
Curator. They've got the best curator in the world, but he's handcuffed. He's like, all I want to do is sprinkle some sand.
No.
All right, we got a second conspiracy before we go. This one's from Jamie. After JL not using Fife as the sub on the weekend, it got me thinking, how many times a team's sub goes unused? It's only 5 times in 2024 and only twice this year in 2025. The only other time this year the sub has gone unused was, coincidentally, Ross Lyon not using it in round 8 versus Freo when they smashed them. My mail is JL and Freo were secretly filthy at the arrogance of Ross not using it in round 8, winning so easily they didn't need it. The story put out is Fife had calf awareness, but the reality is Freo wanted to get one back on Ross and beat them without using the sub. JL got that dog in him.
Have we got an update on Fife?
Calf awareness.
Yeah.
He's aware he has a calf.
He's aware
I'm
he's
guessing
got a
it's a
calf.
month.
It's always going to be longer with a player like him. I can't see him playing footy this week.
Has he got a contract next year?
Nope. No. I'm not doing that. I'm not having that conversation.
You got anything?
I'm not. What?
You got any stories or anything?
Kid Cats to break?
Well, maybe if I wasn't doing podcasts for 2 hours, I could make some calls.
If you don't give me a little nibble, I'll bring something up.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
You want me to bring it up or you?
No, don't bring up
Okay,
anything.
give us a little nibble of something.
What do you want from me?
I don't know, just something.
Jago Mira pinged his hammy last week a little
There
bit.
you go, that'll do. Bang.
Yeah.
So that's why he didn't play on the weekend, and he'd be in some doubt.
And Sonny didn't play again.
Yeah, Sonny's pulled up real sore.
Yeah,
So
shame.
that's a worry. All three of those guys, it's going to be very hard for them to break back in and stay.
And continue on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think Jager's
Sorry,
going
Amira's
better.
yeah,
Jager's
Amira's
going better.
He's still got another couple of
This episode is brought to you by Woodside Energy, a proud major sponsor of the Fremantle Football Club, supporting local footy from grassroots to greatness.
All right, this has been the Hubble Gets AFL show. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you back on Thursday for the teams.